Right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. The fundamentals are not rocket science. It's universal wearing of masks. An issue in that is to make sure you do whatever you can to safeguard the safety and the health of the children as well as the teachers. Close the bars and keep the schools open.
A lot of folks are hearing now about double masking, wearing 2 masks or trying to get one of those N95 medical grade masks. Do you believe that that's a...
You know, it likely does, because, I mean, this is a physical covering to prevent droplets and virus to get in. So if you have a physical covering with one layer, you put another layer on, it just makes common sense that it likely would be more effective. And that's the reason why you see people either double masking or doing a version of an N95. There are many people who feel, you know, if you really want to have an extra little bit of protection, maybe I should put 2 masks on. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's no data that indicates that that is going to make a difference.
Wanted to bring you some pretty stunning comments from Dr. Anthony Fauci, who basically just admitted why and how the government lied to us about the efficacy of wearing masks. Let's take a listen as he explains the real reason they told us not to do that.
What about a month or so, or 2 or 3 ago, when people were saying, you don't really need to wear a mask? Well, the reason for that is that we were concerned, the public health community, and many people were saying this, were concerned that it was at a time when personal protective equipment, including the N95 masks and the surgical masks, were in very short supply.
It is
just admits
hard.
it on live television.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Hard to overstate how outrageous it is.
Anthony Fauci admitted to the New York Times he'd nudged the numbers on herd immunity up to bolster public support for COVID vaccines.
The estimate is that you'll need about 70%, maybe 75% of the people in the country vaccinating to get that umbrella of herd immunity. Let's say we get 75%, 80% of the population vaccinated. We may actually have enough herd immunity protecting our society. You can make an extrapolation from other infections. I say between 75 and 85% of the population.
When newer surveys said 60% or more would take it, I thought I can nudge this up a bit. So I went to 80, 85. We really don't know what the real number is. I think the real range is somewhere between 70 to 90%, but I'm not going to say 90%.
Fauci, in the New York Times, once again admitted to misleading the public yesterday.
This is not science.
So we are not smart enough to think for ourselves, says the unelected bureaucrat.
Is there any talk of closing flights from Europe or flights from Asia outside of China, like what we did with China?
No, I don't think at all that will happen.
Travel ban has helped for this?
I think it absolutely has. I believe if we did not do that with China early on.
What about with Europe, when there's already a lot of community?
Oh, right. Well, I think that was a prudent choice. But countries in Europe, including Italy, if you look today at the majority of cases that are new cases, not old ones, new cases throughout the world, the majority of them are from Europe to other countries. If you look in the United States, at states that have new cases, the majority of them are coming from that region. It was based on that the travel restriction was suggested and accepted.
Dr.